Clarissa upside down. It's a sad thing. This old girl used to sail North Bay, and she was just a marvelous sailor. And she's in sad, sad condition. I don't know. She's in so bad, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's tempting to just give up. My wife was certainly like that. I mean, I've got plenty to do just with restoring little girl. But this old girl, Clarissa, is kind of calling out to me. And I built her from scratch. Literally, every single timber in her. Designed her, for that matter. This is a 12.5-foot Cape Cod oyster skiff. And unbelievable sailor. She's just really excellent. So dark in here. I don't know if you can see this. By the way, this birds, you can't see it up here. Birds have been pooping all over this thing. Here's where the daggerboard comes down through right here. And anyway, I'm going to get it cleaned up, take a look. And if it's not too hopeless, I'm going to quietly, slowly start reclaiming Clarissa. She's named after my great, I think it's 4 greats back, grandmother. And anyway, she's a good boat in her day. And I just hate to see her sitting out here in this shed in this kind of a condition. By the way, there's a boat trailer right outside this building under a little lean-to that goes with her. So the beauty of this is if I ever got her fixed up, I can trailer her anywhere I want to and sail her. So anyway, more on this later. Let me do some cleaning up, and I'll get back to you and kind of let you know what's going on. Okay, well, I was out here again last night looking at this, and I started pulling bungs, and I'll tell you what, not a happy sight. I made a really bad mistake when I built the boat. The boat was, by the way, the boat went together beautifully. I mean, I can't complain. This was one glorious, exciting thing to build this boat and have it sail all around North Bay, Cotuit, along Nantucket Sound. I mean, I just reveled in this boat. I mean, it was an awesome boat. And the mast and the boom and all the accoutrements are still in wonderful condition, but the hull is really bad. And there are a couple of things involved. One is 3 years that we spent in Virginia where this is just flipped upside down outside and the heat and whatever. The other thing is right here, again, and then going back to the bungs thing. I made a really bad mistake, like I said, of using zinc-plated screws. Stupid mistake. And what's happened is, I mean, the zinc is just useless as a protector against salt. And this boat was in the water for several years up on North Bay. It was moored up there, and the result being that it absorbs salt moisture through the bungs, through the walls of the boat, and those screws are just all rusted all to pieces. And I'll tell you what, I'm not going to think about even attempting to pull all these screws. But there's one saving grace in this thing, and it's the way that I constructed it. I don't know if I can get down here so you can see this. This is a batten right here. This is the bottom comes out to the edge of the bottom of the bottom plank, okay, and is glued and screwed into place with resorcinol glue. It was built, the way that they were supposed to back in the olden days. And then I did this is a solid oak here that is a batten strip that goes over the seam where the bottom ties into the bottom plank. And it never did leak, by the way. That batten seam held wonderfully all the time I used this boat. So anyway, that and the fact that I've got another identical rub rail up here, it's another oak rub rail at the top. Well, what that means is I'm going to remove every bit of this planking, both sides, okay? And what I'm going to do is, while this is still upside down, I'm going to take my skill saw. I'm going to take my skill saw and rest it right on this ledge, and it will cut 1.25 inches up. You know, it's just the natural guard on it. We'll cut 1.25 inches up, and I just run it down the whole length, okay? And then what I'm going to start doing is just ripping these things off their frames inside. And, you know, and I don't care what kind of, the planks are all coming off. The frames will be intact, but they'll be held in place by this, you know, by the wood up here that'll act as a stringer, and the wood down here that'll act as a stringer that is going to be left behind after I've made my cuts with a skill saw. And so I'll be left with no planks and just the wood that is at the top and the bottom that will act as stringers to hold all the frames in place. And then one by one, I'm going to start replacing the frames. But anyway, that's a plan. As of last night, I wasn't even thinking that way. I was thinking this whole thing was a loss. And just forget about it. She's too far gone. The business of the zinc screws being all rusted out and all having to pull all those screws and replace all those screws, I don't think so. Basically what I'm doing here, and this is the last time I'm going to say this because this is getting long. Basically what I'm doing here is the same thing that they're doing on, what was it, rebuilding Tally-Ho. And basically he's just pulling all his planks and leaving enough planks in place to hold the frames, and then he's coming back and replacing the frames, and that's kind of what I'm doing here. So anyway, that's it for now. And hey, I'm hoping one day to get Clarissa back on the water, but it's not going to be an easy thing, and it's going to take a while to do it.